Hi, my name is Julie Hoisington, and I wanted the opportunity to talk to you today a little bit about personal health records, or what we commonly know as called a PHR. Now, a lot of people don't know what a personal health record is, or why and how you would use one. So that's why I'm here today, is just to explain a few of those things to you, hopefully so that you'll create one of your own. Now, the first thing I want to tell you is I have created this worksheet that's going to help you follow along with me. And as we're going through this process, feel free to write in whatever information is pertinent to you, what you think personally that you will be able to use. It's clearly provided for your benefit, so please feel free to use this information. The first thing I wanted to start off with is why you need a personal health record, and that's usually the first thing most people ask is, how could I possibly use this for my own benefit? Let me give you an example. Let's say that you had an immunization done within the last couple of years, but you didn't document that you had that immunization done, and you can't remember the name of the physician who did it, when the date of it was, and maybe you're starting a new job that requires you to have that information. Another example might be if you've had a colonoscopy done within the last 5 years. If you've had one done within the last 5 years, your insurance probably won't cover it unless you have another family history or another problem. So let's say that you had one 3 years ago and you go to your doctor's office and your doctor's office asks to see a copy of that record. You don't have it. So he orders it again. You go and have your colonoscopy done once again, only to find out it's not going to be covered by your insurance. I have a more detailed and a lot more catastrophic example. There was a young man that was in a catastrophic car accident, and he was unconscious when he went to the hospital. And the caregivers, the ER physicians, decided that they needed to do emergency surgery on him. And they didn't know anything about his medical history. They couldn't contact any relatives, didn't have any way of knowing what was going on with him personally. So they went ahead and did this surgery because it was an emergency surgery. They ended up giving him a medication while he was in the OR, and it was something he happened to be allergic to. He never awoke from his surgery. He ended up being brain dead, and his family ended up taking him off life support. Now that's pretty extensive, pretty dramatic. But the point is, maybe if he'd had that medical information with him or on him, or at least some contact information of how they could get a hold of that information, perhaps that wouldn't have been the outcome. So let's walk through a step to figure out how you can do this and why you need to do this. So the first thing on our list is C. C for collect. Now I created this acronym, COST, to make it easy and effective so that you could remember it without having to really think it through a lot. So let's look at this first one. The first letter is C, and C stands for collect. Now, to be perfectly honest, this is probably going to be the hardest step of anything that you're going to do when creating this medical record. And the reason it's difficult is there's a lot of work on your part. So let's look. Collect. What are we collecting? What do we want to see? So a couple of the things that you might think about are previous hospitalizations, maybe your shot record. You might even take into account a list of the name of the physicians that you currently see. So we'll just call that doctors. And you might also want to be collecting a list of your medications. You want a current dosage, the type of medication you take, and what exactly that medication is being administered for. So we're just going to call prescriptions RX. Now here's the hard part. It's easy to create a list. What's not easy is actually going to the hospital or going to your doctor's office and asking for a copy of that medical record. Now you don't have to have a copy of the entire medical record, just a copy of things like an operative report, a colonoscopy, maybe some labs that had some bad values on them. You might even want a copy of things like an ER record, immunization records, just something that's going to help show some chronological information, and also if it can have an effect further in your medical history, you want to collect that type of information. The other thing you probably need to be aware of when collecting some of this information is that sometimes doctor's offices and hospitals may charge you for that information. In Oklahoma, they can charge you $1 for the first page and 50 cents for each additional page. So they are by law able to collect that information, that money from you, but sometimes if you have a really nice physician, they'll just give you the information if it's just like a single report or just a printed report. By all means, you do not need to get a copy of the entire medical record. Okay, so that was C, collect. So the next thing that's on our list is O. O. And O stands for organize. Okay, so when it comes to organizing your personal health record, there are several ways that you can do this. One method that you can have is just old-fashioned paper. If you're the type of person that you prefer having an actual physical copy in your hand, that is fine. Get copies of those records, collect those copies, and keep them in an orderly fashion. So maybe you want to do it by year. Maybe you want to do it by what document type you're talking about. So if it's an ER record, keep those according to what type of record you're dealing with and the date that that record was created. If you want to do it electronically, there are numerous vendors out there that are willing, and they're free, they're willing to help organize that information for you. So a lot of them are cloud-based software. You can also do things on your own. If you have a scanner at home, you can scan these documents and then load them into files, and you can organize them that way. Again, depending on maybe document type, perhaps by year if you've seen a doctor a lot. But this is completely up to you. However you're comfortable organizing this information, and maybe it depends on what type of information you've collected. If all you are comfortable with is collecting the names of your physicians, maybe your shot record, maybe dates of hospitalizations, you can just do that in a Word document. You don't have to really download anything. So now we've got C for collect, O for organize. Okay, so next on our list, this one's going to be a little bit more labor intensive. This one is actually S. And S means save. Okay, so again, saving this information. If you're a paper-based person, put it in a lockbox, keep it in a place that if something traumatic happens, like a fire or a tornado takes place, that those documents are going to be kept saved. One of the highest rising types of type of identity theft right now is medical identity theft. So you want to keep that information safe and secure. So if you're going to keep it in paper, keep it where it's safe. Now what I want to talk to you more is about media, digital media. And there are several types of digital media that you can use. One thing that you can use is what we call a rewritable disc. So if you're going to purchase a CD, you want to get one that is an RW+, and that means it's rewritable. That means that you can put it into your drive, your disk burner, and you can keep saving information to the same disk over and over again. So again, this is a rewritable disk. The other thing that you can use that's very handy to carry around is just a simple little flash drive. Now you want to take into account how big your medical record is and what you perceive you're going to need in the future, but you could probably get by with maybe a 4 gig flash drive for now, again depending upon your medical history. But these are very portable. A lot of people can put these on keychains. You can put these in your glove box. You can put it in a lockbox in your storage, so these are also very portable. So we're going to, and you can call this a thumb drive, flash drive. A lot of people just refer to them however you want, jump drives. So we're just going to put, let's call it a flash drive. So we have a flash drive now. The other thing that you can use is what's called a micro SD card, and these are little bitty teeny tiny little things, but again they can store a lot of digital data on them, and they're very portable. Now Again, it's going to be kind of like the flash drive, depending on how big your medical history is and what you anticipate needing for storage size. That's going to depend on how big of micro SD card you're going to get. But you certainly can use a micro SD card. So let's put micro SD on there. And let's just go ahead and put paper, just so that you know that still is an option. So let's go back over it. To save, we have to collect it first, then we have to organize it, then we can save it depending on what format we want to save it to. Okay, the last thing on my list, if you have your piece of paper out, the last thing on my list was what? It was T, and T stands for transport. Okay, we have to be a little careful when we're talking about transporting this information because it is your medical information. We don't want this information getting into the wrong hands, so you just can't be, hey, let's just go put our medical information wherever somebody can grab it. A couple of things that you can try. You can, if you have an insurance card, what you can do on the back of your insurance card, I don't know if you can see this, but on my insurance card I wrote in the words personal health record on just a piece of surgical tape. And what I'm doing is I take my little micro SD card that I've loaded my information to, I just put that there. Now, why did I put this on an insurance card? Well, truth of the matter is if you're ever in an accident or if something ever happens to you, when they go to look to see who you are, they're going to look two places. They're going to look for an ID, so a photo ID, and then they're going to look for an insurance card. We don't want to put this on your photo ID because people steal photo IDs, and if you don't want your photo ID stolen, you certainly don't want your health information attached to it. People don't generally steal insurance cards. So you could put this on the back of your insurance card. The micro SD is thin enough that it could fit nicely in your wallet or in your billfold. So that is one option. The other option is if you're not comfortable hauling this little micro SD card around with you, what you could do is just have personal health record on the back of your insurance card or on the back of your ID, and you could just say, please contact so-and-so for my personal health information. Again, what we're trying to make sure that we have is someone has access to your health information if you need it, in the event of emergency, in the event that you're sitting in a doctor's office and you don't want to have to pay for a test that you just had 3 or 4 days ago, just in case you need to get a copy of a report quickly or some results quickly. This is just another mechanism for that. So this is one way to transport it. Again, if you have something like a flash drive, a lot of people are creating these into keychains. You can buy these where they already have the loops attached, and you can just attach it to your keychain and it's carried with you wherever you go. A lot of vendors are also attaching little encrypted devices to things like necklaces, bracelets, tying them onto the shoestrings, and it's just a way that you have to collect that information. The last thing I wanted to talk to you about was at the bottom of your page, you're going to see a website address. And the website says, for more information, go to myphr.com. Now, MyPHR is a phenomenal website, and if you've never created a personal health record, I very much invite you to go visit this website. The website is actually powered by the American Health Information Management Association, or what we commonly refer to as AHIMA. It's a nonprofit agency, and they are huge advocates for the creation of personal health records. And what they've done on this website is they've put you into contacts with things like vendors. They go over on other ideas of how to create your personal health record, why you need to create a personal health record. But it's a phenomenal site that if you have questions, or if you still don't know where to start even after going through these steps and you're still not sure, go visit myphr.com and it'll help you walk through those steps so that you know where you need to be. But again, don't forget, we're looking for cost, C-O-S-T. Collect, organize, save, transport. It's not worth the cost of your life not to have a personal health record. Thank you and have a great day.